Warning, this video contains spoilers. Do not watch until you've seen the entire Illuminati Trilogy, as it is necessary.
It's all the same thing. Never had a love quite like you, baby. Like you, baby.
Hello everyone, my name is KLibbitz, and today I want to go over some of the concepts and ideas that inspired my Illuminati Trilogy series, my first short film series on the channel that I'm proud of and that I put a lot of effort into. And so if you guys are excited, then please stay along and watch with me, because it's actually going to be a really good video. I'm going to try and go in depth, and I'm going to try and do this as quickly as I can, and you'll also get to see some BTS of the final Illuminati video. So without further ado, let's get into how it all started. It actually started with me making this video and uploading it on Christmas Day 2015. And it wasn't actually Christmas Day. I believe it was either the day before or the day after. It was called KLibbitz's Illuminati, and it was a short 1 to 1.5 minute video, which was basically just a funny video mocking me as being part of the Illuminati. It was kind of a meme at the time, and I just thought I'd have my own go at it, and it was pretty funny. And it got a lot of views, so I was proud of it. I never really thought about making any more after that, but I decided that I was going to, since that first one was so successful. So I decided I'm going to do another Illuminati video, and I didn't want to do it in the same way, so I was trying to come up with new ways on how I could do it, and I eventually came up with this idea to do a real life video of me originally going to be talking to the camera about how I'm not in the Illuminati. However, then I'd cut that video, I would lie down, and then a voice would talk to me, and that voice would so-called be the Illuminati, and basically what would happen from there is I would then get taken, I would run away because I was scared of the voice, I would get kidnapped, and then I would all of a sudden mysteriously wake up in this base. So it was kind of a lot to go over, you know, but this was the original idea I had, and this is kind of what happened. And I will say, at this time, when I had planned this back in May of 2016, I hadn't even come up with the idea to make a sequel and a final one. So it was just going to be this one-off video. It wasn't until later on when I decided it could be, you know, there's a lot of questions that should be answered. So, but we'll get to that in the future. So in this video, I wake up in this base after I've been taken away, right? But really, I'm not in a base. I just wanted an excuse to film in my caravan, because another reason I decided to create this video was because I was really sick and tired of always filming videos in my room as I do, and I wanted to go somewhere new. So I did a bit outside, and I decided to do a bit in the caravan, and it worked pretty well because it was a good place to use as a base. You know, if you do it right, it actually worked really well, and I was really happy with it. This is where we get introduced to our first character besides myself, Brian. Now, Brian has a very strange voice. I didn't really have anything that I went off when I made his voice. It was very improvised. I think the furthest amount of depth I went into creating his voice was me just trying to decide what it should sound like before I started recording, about 5 minutes before. So it was kind of like this. It started off with it being more of a serious voice like this, but then slowly I took it and I kind of gave it that sound, and it originally started off sounding really dumb. So I didn't like that. So I changed it a little bit and made it a bit more serious like this. And that's kind of how the voice came through. A little bit of a racist voice, but I didn't know that, and I kind of had to stick with it. So what can you do? So at this point, Brian was the bad guy. He was a standalone character beside from myself. It was just the two of us, and he was working for someone, but you couldn't tell who in this video. And what happened was he'd kidnapped me, taken me back, and asked me questions because he really wanted to know if I was in the Illuminati or not. And at this stage, I didn't even know what that was, other than the fact that it was some funny joke, and that's why I made the video about me not being in it. But the character that I was playing was myself, and he was really scared at the time, and so he just says he's not in the Illuminati. But my favourite scene has to be the one where Brian gives me a piece of paper that says, "Are you in the Illuminati?" And I get a pen and very dramatically tick the no box. It just made me laugh so much when I watched it. But that was a good scene. So at this point in time, we didn't really know what was going on. But then I started questioning him, and then I decided to run away, and I escape from the base, also the caravan at this stage, and Brian then comes running out saying, "We will find you and we will stop you, it is not all for you." A little bit improvised, but you can see what I mean. So, and then basically from there, I ran back inside, did like a little message to people saying that I may not be safe, and basically that's where the first one ends. So, you know, it was quite a good start. I was really happy with it, and it was still one of my favourite videos, even to this day, even when I made it. It was one of my favourite videos on the channel, and it did pretty well. Unfortunately, I don't have behind the scenes to that one or the second one, just because I didn't I recorded some, but I deleted them at the time because the iPad I was recording on doesn't have a lot of space, so unfortunately couldn't keep them. Then we get on to the second one, which happened as part of the KLibbitz marathon on August 26th, 2016. Video ideas aside, I wanted to make this because I had planned for quite a while. I was going to do it earlier, but I never got the chance. So when I finally did, I took the opportunity to make the sequel. I will just say the sequel is probably my least favourite one of the three, just because, you know, all it really did was develop story. There was not a lot of action in it, but it's okay because it was still part of the series, and it's my favourite series. So in the second one, it starts off with Brian getting a call from someone. Now this someone is not someone that is actually introduced until the very end of that, and he's not even really introduced, he's only shown for a couple of seconds. This character is the Illuminati. He is Brian's boss, so-called at the time. Now at this point, Brian is still considered to be an evil villain until he shows up later. So Ronan is just chilling at home, you know, he's just opening his school bag, doing homework, reading a script at the time, and then all of a sudden he hears a knock at the door, and then it happens again, and it gets gradually more violent to the point where he has to answer the door. So he opens the door, and to his shock, it's Brian, and Brian is very strange. One kind of plot hole that I had with the series, never really decided how I was gonna make Brian find my place, but he works for the Illuminati, so that can kind of fill itself in there, I guess, you know, with tracking devices. So anyway, Brian actually convinces Ronan to come into his car and follow him, but this would have had to have happened because they would have had to have created, Ronan and Brian would have needed to have trust. They would have had to have created a bond of trust within that very short scene, and it was hard for me to do. Try to pull it off, think I could have done better, but either way, it still progressed the same. So in this scene, Brian says that he does not actually believe I'm in the Illuminati, tries to get his story through, but it doesn't really work. But so Ronan hops into the car. Brian then talks about how I have a long-lost cousin who is his boss, and I never really kind of expanded on the idea that he's my long-lost cousin. That was only really in the second one. I kind of got rid of that in the third one. But either way, we get there, and it's kind of strange, because when I get into the place, Brian leaves because he was asked to, and so I'm sitting in this base, which is what I'm going to refer to it as, and right opposite me was the Illuminati, and that's where the second episode ends. However, it's not the most amazing ending, because what you don't realize is that he's the Illuminati, so it kind of leaves a bit of questions there. Then of course we get to the final one. Oh boy, the Illuminati, a false reality. I love the title, I love the video, it's just so good. Let me explain to you exactly how we got from the first one to this one. So in the third one, it starts off with me in the same time period as the end of the second one. That's one thing I want you guys to know, is straight after the second one to the beginning of the third one happens literally at the same point in time. There's only a little bit of a gap there, but I never really decided how we got from there to there, so that's up to you to kind of fill in. But what happens is, I have a bag over my head. I've been kidnapped by the Illuminati, who is the third character, the final one. He's the villain, the real villain, because Brian is now considered to be a good character, which was a good little turning point for him. So we now have the Illuminati in control of me. So what happens is, I'm just strangling, he's going on, and then he calls up Brian because he doesn't realise that Brian has changed sides and gone for me now. So what happens is, the Illuminati calls Brian, and Brian answers. Well, actually no, he doesn't. And this is the amazing thing, because him not answering meant that his call was sent to a voicemail. And then Brian listened to the voicemail and got scared, because the voicemail was about a threatening message towards me. So, what happened was, Brian then decides to get into his car and get straight to the base as quick as he can to save me. Then we cut back to the Illuminati, who, let's just presume that this scene is happening while he's driving, because it makes sense. The Illuminati then goes into a bit of a backstory of how it was all created, and I really like this scene because you can hear the little transition between his actual voice and that robotic voice that you hear in the video before the trilogy starts and in the beginning of the trilogy. And I think that's cool because now you can kind of see that that's the same character in a digital form. I really like that, and it links everything up together. So then he stops, and at the end of the Illuminati speech, he's about to go in and get me. And what happens is, he misses, because as soon as he's about to get me, Brian comes in. And this is my favourite part of the third one, because what happens is, there's a large amount of tension and dramaticness rising up. So then you have Brian slowly walking towards the Illuminati and me with his gun. It's just a fake gun. Don't know where I got it from, but it doesn't matter. And the Illuminati was expecting him to kill me, because that's what had kind of been planned, and you can see the fear in me during the scene. I even think he's going to. Turns out he's putting on a really good act, and as he walks up, he gets ready, and I like this scene. It's a bit like the ending of the Hunger Games. You think he's going to shoot me, but he shoots the Illuminati, his boss, which was actually the best thing to do, because he was the evil one controlling everyone and had me kidnapped. So right after he gets shot, I get out, Brian and I, we leave the base, and then all of a sudden we're in his car, but we'll get to that in a second. The shooting scene was one of the hardest to film, because we had the three characters of us, played by me. You had me, the Illuminati, and Brian. I was doing all of those. So we need to have created it to make it seem like, you know, there were three different characters without, you know, getting rid of the whole atmosphere. So, but I think I did pretty good with the editing for that. Anyway, after this scene, what happens is, I'm back in the car with Brian, and we're both sitting down in the car, and now Brian's really happy because he thinks he's done a good job, and technically he has, but me, being all sweaty and confused, I had no idea, and I just fainted because I couldn't handle it, so that's what happened. And then, from there, you can hear Brian saying, "Ronan, Ronan," and then it switches slowly back into my friend Jai, who, by the way, is also the first person in the series, besides me, to actually be in there. Like, in terms of actors, he's a different person, playing a different character. So he was the first other person besides me in the series, and you hear him talk, slowly transitioning from this universe that I had created where the Illuminati was real and exists to real life. It's symbolic of the fact that everything that had just happened was not real. And so I wake up, and John and I have this little conversation about things that have been going on, and he has no idea. So then I decide to make a video about it, and I run back into my room here, and I'm like, "Guys, what is up? I have a lot to tell you," as if it's still kind of in that universe, but I haven't really experienced it. And then, just before the video ends, the final moment, where do I even begin? I got apparently kidnapped in some way. What was that about? Well, it had no meaning other than to leave the audience on edge, okay? I could easily do another one, but there'd be no point, because I'm done with it. There was only going to be 3, and I like that ending, because it'll leave people questioning whether or not it really was real forever. And that's all I want. I want to leave it right there and drop the mic. I think it's perfect time to do that, so it's great. So that's kind of the history of my trilogy, and of the prequel to it, the KLibbitz's Illuminati video. Now, I also want to read out to you guys my original plan, because the third video was going to be a lot different. And I have on my phone still the notes that I made for the original one before I put them into action. So I'm just going to read out to you what originally was going to happen. So this was the original version. So Ronan wakes up trapped, and then Villain acts menacing and explains the truth. I have my first flashback to my encounter with Brian. That didn't happen, that got cut. And then the Illuminati calls Brian and leaves a voicemail. That did happen. And then Brian later on hears the voicemail and rescues me. That did happen. Here's where things get a bit different. It was then going to be the Illuminati fighting me and trying to kill me, and then fails and kills Brian instead. Brian was going to be the original one that was going to die, but then they were going to get into a 1v1 fight, and in the ending I was going to die after Brian, and then the Illuminati was going to win. Sounds kind of confusing. It would have been good. I decided to cut that because it was a bit complicated and it wouldn't have been the most satisfying ending. Then it would have switched to silence. I would have woken up in reality, and then Kurt would have been with me, not Jai, and he would have told me it was all not real and just an illusion. I would have said it couldn't have been. Kurt would have said it was. He would have comforted me and then took me back inside. I would have recovered and I would have been fine, and the ending would have been that it was all fake. The cliffhanger, because I was still going to have one of those, was going to be that Kurt was the Illuminati, but it's fake as well. So that was going to be the original video. You can imagine how that would have gone through. Don't think it would have been as good as what I ended up doing, but, you know, that's up to you. So that's pretty much it for the Illuminati Trilogy. If you guys want to know more, you're going to have to come up with theories. I'm explaining it for you because apparently you don't have time to work it out yourself, and that's okay, because I think sometimes we all need someone to explain things to us. Before I go though, I do have one last thing to share with you guys, and it's a little bit of a treat for those who are still watching. Good on you guys. I actually have a couple of BTS from the final one that I did, you know, about 1 month ago, and I thought I'd show that. So if you guys like BTS, here you go. We need you here. Really quick. Thanks. See ya. I think that's the one I'm going to use.
Okay.
You're lucky. They didn't pick up. Stop. Stop. You going? You going? You going?
Yep.
You going?
Yep.
Because then I can stop.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
You recording? Good.
And stop. Go.
Stop. 1. For many years, the Illuminati has been a major part of the world in today's society. Keep it going. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out and I'm going to put it in. Keep going, keep going.
Okay.
Is it still recording?
Yeah.
And that's the Illuminati. And that's who I am. And now, it's been too long. Brian hasn't come here yet. It's time for me to end you early. Are you ready? You gotta be serious, okay?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Why did you?
Go.
3, 2, 1. You going?
Yeah.
Okay, go. Don't film me coming
I
out.
did.
You going?
Yep.
Let's get out of here. Going?
Yep.
Okay. Done. Stop.
I think that was a bit of...
You going?
Yes.
You going?
Yeah.
Really there? Stop. Are you saying I'm... Leave it. Keep going. Stop. You going?
Yeah.
Okay. You can see the amount of times that I'm saying go or stop or are you recording, because I had to make sure that the camera was going in order for me to perform the scenes. and I think in the end it went pretty well. So that's it for the Illuminati series. This is the last video. I'm not going to be doing any more. This will also be in the playlist, but only as like a guide or what have you. And if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. Just wanted to clear that out of the way, kind of explain how it all goes, and I think I did pretty good. So if you guys like this, leave a like and subscribe, and who knows, I might make a series like that again sometime in the future. You never know. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later. Hope you're informed about how it went.